right, so went 3-2 overall, broke even in the league, lost to green-white once, and a weirdo mono-white humans that was splashing red. So I think Advocate, Tracker, Nissa, Kalidas, Silumgar are just like very, very good. At no point really when I had one of them going was I like, man, this card is just not good right now. But the issue was having like the right answers at the right times, and above all else, the real big issue was the mana, just like not having double black for Grasp, not being able to make my land drops. Like, it is entirely possible that this deck should just have 27 land, or in the case of like some of the other versions, just like play Oath of Nissa somewhere. And that's pretty reasonable, but I am a little concerned about having... Right now, I have 9 ETB tap lands, so if I had that with Oath of Nissa, that's like a lot of stuff that is just kind of like taxing onto your mana, where if you have a land that ETB's tapped, you're down a mana. If you play Oath of Nissa, you're down a mana, you know? And I already felt that impact a lot in the games that I was playing, where it was very difficult to double spell and use my mana effectively, and having all the lands ETB tapped was not great. I also think the deck is just short a black source in general. You have Grasp, Ruinous Path, Languish, Kalidas, and not a lot of green cards, but you do need the green early. Like, you are just a black deck splashing these green creatures, you know? So, I feel like the deck should have another black source instead of being over on like green to black by 3 sources. That just seems like a lot. Like, I have 2 coasts and a Lumbering Falls, more than the black side of things, so not great. Sunken Hollow interests me a little bit, but I could also see just like cutting something for a swamp. I was short on blue mana, but you don't need it really until pretty late, so I would probably get rid of the Lumbering Falls and maybe a coast and work on the mana a little bit. Maybe even just add a land. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, deck felt decent. Petition kind of like brings it all together, where you never really feel like, oh, I don't have like the right answer to this you know, certain threat or whatever. Sideboard is just kind of a mess. Certainly could use better cohesion. You know, just figure out what you want in certain matchups and build your sideboard that way. I certainly did not do that for this video. I kind of just like looked at a bunch of different lists and played cards that I wanted. So I would say that the Pulse of Marasa is worth it. There were matches where it looked decent, and gaining 6 life is a lot of life. Like if I had this against the Blue-Red Dragon deck, for example, you know, it just kind of like locks things up. Seasons Pass is probably not necessary. I'm willing to say that, especially if a lot of the mirrors look like this, where it's just all about the creatures. Like, you just need the spot removal. If you don't have the spot removal, you're going to get run over by their creatures. There might be a game where you know, for each creature, they have a removal spell and vice versa, and you just play this long, drawn-out game, and maybe you get to petition for Season Pass and get ahead. But you can also just like petition for Ob Nixilis and just kind of be in the same spot. It's not as overwhelming as if you do the Seasons Pass thing, but it's probably not worth it. Didn't get to grip anyone. That sucks. Silumgar's command is fine, but I don't know. It's tough to have blue, you know? It's like, this is not really a turn 5 card in this deck, so feel like that's not necessary. Deadweights are good if you expect the aggro humans decks. Still like Read the Bones. I could see getting rid of the second Plague. I had Plague against Greenway, and they just kind of beat me anyway. Third Languish certainly seems reasonable. Again, lost to the human deck, but they were also ready for Languish with the Bushwhackers and stuff, so you kind of need to combo a Transgress with the Languish to actually beat them. Duress and Negate look good. Infinite Obliteration is necessary, but yeah, like these 4 cards can definitely go. Maybe use them to solidify stuff, and if you don't expect a lot of red decks, then the Pulse can probably go too, but I like the main deck, minus the mana base, and maybe just add an extra land somewhere, but that's about it. I do think this deck is good against green-white, but again, if you fall behind, they just kill you super quickly, and you don't have a lot of stuff that actually catches you back up once you are behind, so there is just a lot of emphasis on you needing to actually keep parity with them, which makes it tough, you know? Like, if that's the case, then I would feel much better on the green-white side, even if, you know, you are a slight dog in the matchup. But that's it for me. Went 3-2. Didn't look too bad. I thought the human deck would be a pretty bad matchup, and it was, despite my opponent having some weird cards, although I could see how Angel's Tomb would be good. But yeah, green-white, we split 1-1, and could maybe use some help there. I don't know, but I do like the plan that this deck has against them, which is basically Dragonlord Silumgar. So that's it. I'll see y'all next week.